Hello and welcome to another episode of the Gun and Gear Review podcast on the Firearms Insider. This is episode 43. On this show, we showcase gun reviews, gear, and anything else a gun enthusiast may be looking for. We strive to evaluate products from an unbiased and honest perspective. I'm your host, Ryan Cross from the Firearms Radio Network, your source for broadcasts for shooters, hunters, and gun enthusiasts. Bandwidth for this episode is brought to you by Action Target. This week I have with me listener Chad Wallace. Thanks for joining me again, Chad.
Oh, sure. No problem. It's my pleasure. This is actually a lot of fun.
So, did you do anything on guns this week?
I actually did nothing with guns this week. Last week, well, it was probably about 2 weeks ago now, I had some relatives up from California, and their daughter wanted to go shooting, who's 13, and she'd never shot a gun before. So we took her shooting, got her hopefully interested in firearms, and maybe next time she's up, she'll want to shoot some more.
Yeah, it's always good to let them expose to it young and learn that it's fun, but also stress the safety points early so that they have some common sense for later on if they are more interested in it.
Yeah, I guess they drove up here, so on the drive home, I guess that was all she talked about.
Yeah. Sweet. Well, I finished up my 300 Blackout pistol build already. When the heart wants something, the wallet moves fast, I guess. So here's what it looks like. It's a, I think, 8.5 or 9.5 inch black hole weaponry barrel. It's on surplus ammo, upper and lower receivers that I got in the liquid here. It's got this, of course, the SIG arm brace, so I don't have to register it as an SBR. It's got an EOTech sight on the top of it and the Magpul angled foregrip. Overall, I think it's really comfortable to shoot, especially when I shoulder it, which is perfectly legal. And get a good cheek weld. I found that this arm brace, which I'll do a review on in the near future, it gives me a really nice cheek weld for aiming with an optic. Groups were pretty outstanding at 50 yards. I haven't taken it past 50 yet, and I've just been working on reloads for it, trimming brass, and then using some like 150 grain 30 cal bullets, which don't shoot very well in my 308 rifle, so it's a perfect deal. I get to use projectiles that were just sitting in the safe, and they seem to do pretty well. I've even shot it suppressed, and it's not all that as quiet as I thought it was going to be, and it still makes my ears ring a little bit, but that's mostly just it cycling and the buffer. It's just a loud twang, and it's a very awkward sound. It's not you don't have the explosion. It's just a loud snap, like, I don't know, someone just slapped you on the rear with a yardstick. It's just that loud crack, and I don't know. It's something. Maybe I'll learn to like it more, but I certainly don't hate it. I still wish it was 9mm, like a Lone Wolf G9, just because 9mm would be way cheaper, and I've got plenty of mags to work for it. But this build was like half the price of, or more than half the price of going with a brand new G9 build. So that's just what I did. So stay tuned for some more reviews on like that SIG arm brace after I use it a little bit more.
So when you were shooting that, were they supersonic loads, or were they?
I reloaded both supersonic and subsonic, and I even was able to find some Hornady 110 VMAX supersonic loads, and those were going about 21 or 2400 feet per second. My subs were 208 grain Hornady boat tail hollow points, and those did really well. I didn't have a chrono, but they were definitely subsonic. They cycled, which is kind of difficult to it's kind of the challenge in reloading for this platform. But going with a pistol length barrel and a pistol length gas system definitely helps in making sure you've got plenty of back pressure especially with a suppressor attached. I even shot without the suppressor a couple of those rounds, and they cycled just fine. So, yeah, I'm still a noob, so as long as I come back from the range with all my fingers and no extra holes, I'm pretty lucky.
Yeah, that's always a big plus.
Yeah. Go ahead.
I was just curious if the supersonic and subsonic, if there was a huge difference in the crack with those.
Yeah, there was. I mean, you could definitely tell the difference. The groups were pretty much the same at 50 yards. I think when I back out to 100, I'll see a little bit more droop in the subsonic ones, obviously, because they're going slower. And then having the suppressor attached, kind of affects barrel harmonics. But even shooting the supersonics through the suppressor, it was hearing safe, but not like real quiet, not pleasant. Nothing compared to shooting supersonics out of my 308, bolt action rifle. But you don't have an action going off right in front of your face.
Especially with that pistol gas system, I would expect it to dump more gas back so you get more noise too. Yep.
I got a nice steam, which I just pretend I'm at the spa when you get shot in the face with some gas. But it's not all that bad. I like the smell, but I think I was using. Actually, I'm not even gonna tell you what powder I was using. I don't want anyone to do anything without proper homework behind it. So let's get right into the announcements for the week. We're always welcoming new guests on the show. So just like Chad here, if you're a listener and you're interested in coming on the show and talking about some of your gear, we enjoy that, and that's something that we're really trying to get more people to participate in. So if you email me, cross@firearmsradio.tv, I'll get you set up, and maybe you can come on a show. And I think you'd have a lot of fun. You like it so far, Chad?
Oh, yeah. Well, I don't know. What is this, third, fourth time I've been here?
I think it's
something
third.
Like that.
Yeah,
I think it's right.
So I know your wife definitely likes you being able to talk guns to somebody else, right?
Yeah, and then she rolls her eyes when I tell her I'm going to come in here and shut off the world. So.
Yeah. Right on. So then another announcement is we're giving away the Glock Tech Mic holster with First Accord. So we've been running that giveaway since the beginning of the month. So it fits all small frame Glock pistols, chambered in 940 and 357 SIG. It simply just slides over the trigger guard for a truly no bulk holster, and it's extremely versatile. You just slide the Kydex over the trigger guard and stuff it down your pants, and you can adjust the cant and the positioning pretty easily, and it ensures that nothing can get in that trigger guard and cause an accidental discharge. And so then when you draw the pistol, that cord is attached to your belt loop, or your belt, and so when you pull and there's enough opposite force, that cord actually just pulls that Kydex right off the gun, and so then you have like a really nice. You can draw from multiple angles, and you don't have to pull straight up like a regular traditional Kydex holster. You can pull forward, pull back, and if you were to pull your gun or it accidentally came out, the cord's not going to cause it's not going to release the pistol without actual force, so you don't have to worry about dropping your Glock on the ground or in the toy aisle at Target. That's not going to happen. So if you want to win this item, which has a suggested retail of $20.95, all you have to do is leave a review for this podcast on iTunes, and then email me your username, your real name, and your shipping address, and you are entered for a chance to win. So the cutoff for entries is August 26th, and the winner will be announced August 28th. Actually, change that to August 29th because that's the Friday, and the podcast releases on Fridays. So, and if you're interested in reading more about the holster, go to glocktech.com. So let's get right into the new product spotlight, and first one this week is the Savage Stevens 5.55 over-under shotgun. So this is a over-under shotgun, meaning the barrels are vertically stacked, and it is designed to be a more of a budget offering from Stevens, which is owned by Savage. It's available in 12 gauge and 20 gauge, and it has a MSRP of $692, which means that the real world prices will be in the mid 500 range. Which is, if you've been shopping for over and under shotguns, that's a pretty sweet deal, considering most of them are over $1,000 easy. Like the Ruger Red Label, any of the Ithacas. I think the Stoeger makes some over and unders that are a little bit under that, but this shotgun is supposed to come even under those. So what do you think? Have you taken a look at this?
I did take a look at this. I haven't actually put my hands on one, but I was looking at the article that's linked in the show notes, and I'm actually intrigued by the 20 gauge because, well, if you're shooting upland game or, birds, that's really about all you need around where I live. And at 5.5 pounds, I'm looking at that could be something nice to lug around up and down hills.
And especially the 20 gauge is so nice for youth, young shooters, kids and young teens, and if you're a smaller framed person or a female, not saying all females are smaller framed and can't handle the full bore of a 12 gauge, but some find the 20 gauge much more pleasant, and being able to have a nice over-under platform that's good, cheaply priced. It's almost perfect for that. I mean, I want to get one of these for my sister because she's a lefty, like right away, and I know that 20 gauge is going to make it much more enjoyable for her to shoot.
Yes, exactly. And being a lefty, the over-under seems to make it a lot nicer too.
Yes. So the receiver is steel reinforced breech, and it makes it it can run 2 3/4 or 3-inch loads, which again helps out with in the field for upland bird. If you want to use 3-inch shells, they have a little bit more pellets than 2 3/4, so you've got a little bit more knockdown power. The barrels are chrome lined, and they're 28 inches for the 12 gauge model and 26 inches for the 20 gauge, which is once again a little shorter overall length, easier for younger people to swing around when they're following a bird or a clay pigeon. I think, and the stock is a Turkish walnut buttstock and forend, and it's got checkering on the gripping surfaces, and it's got a manual tang-mounted safety, and it has shell extractors. So the shell extractors, sometimes when people are making like a budget like single shotgun or a budget double barrel shotgun, if they want to cut corners, they won't include shell extractors, because you can still grab the rim of the shell with your fingernails and pull it out. So that's one way to cut down on savings. They haven't cut that out of this model, so that's really nice to see. It means you can just pop it open, and then ejectors will pop those shells out. And it's got a single selective trigger, as opposed to how most double-barrel shotguns will have 2 triggers. So that's kind of nice too for a younger learner, only having to focus on 1 trigger as opposed to 2.
Yeah, I'm glad my son doesn't like to shoot trap or skeet yet, because otherwise he'd probably bug me for something like this.
Yeah, I think but at least the benefit is, I mean, if he was into skeet and trap and he wanted an over and under shotgun, you don't have to spend over $1,000. You can go with this, and that's a really sweet price. I mean, that's the price of that beats a lot of other stuff.
Yeah, and I mean, it's the price of a handgun or pretty much any other rifle, shotgun you're going to buy anyway.
Yeah, instead of buying yourself yet another Glock, why don't you just get your kid one of these?
Yeah. I just don't know. I sold all my Glocks, so don't tell anybody.
It was a boating accident, right?
No, I actually did sell them all. The grip angle just doesn't quite work for me.
Yeah.
So I just said, nah, I'll just sell them. And now, of course, I don't know. I still don't actually need one, but I figure one of these days I'll buy another one and then probably sell it.
Yeah. Just get an M&P. You're gonna be so happy. Uh, so anyway, if you want to check that out, you actually can go to Savage's website. Um, their website's a little. I can't provide like an actual like accurate link to the shotgun. You have to go to the firearms tab on savagearms.com and then do browse models, and then on the left-hand sidebar you have to scroll all the way to the bottom to shotguns, and then you click on Stevens, and then there'll be a drop-down menu, and the first one is Stevens 555, and so then you can look at the options there. That's all I don't know, some kind of web platform that I can't give you an exact link for, so you got to look for it yourself. I did get this information off of guns.com too. If you want to, we'll provide the link to that in the show notes if you want to read the guns.com article for it as well. So next up this week, we're going to talk about the something new from Smith & Wesson. I just told Chad here to get an M&P, and that actually transitions right into this next product. So something that I actually just saw today on Facebook on Julie Golub's page, and it's an M&P compact and 22 long rifle, and I am in love because I love the Smith & Wesson M&P compacts. I carry a compact, and I just think it's the best thing since sliced bread. It's got a nice ergonomical grip that just fits my palm really well. Yeah, I love it. And now that they have a 22 trainer, I don't know, I think I might have to look into getting one. Or if I see one at the shop, I gotta definitely look at it. So, the Smith & Wesson M&P 22 compact, it's got an MSRP of $389. So, MSRP probably puts it around, in the low 300s. Which is, I think, pretty competitive to other 22 pistols, like the Ruger SR22. I think that's around there. So it's 10 plus 1 rounds. It's got white dot sights. The rear sight is screw adjustable for windage and elevation, and it is the barrel is carbon steel. And the slide is aluminum alloy. It's got a polymer frame just like the other M&Ps, the full-size ones. The weight is only 15.3 ounces, and the barrel length is a little over 3.5 inches long.
Do you know if it has adjustable back straps, or I couldn't find that anywhere, but I'm guessing probably not.
That's a very good question, and it doesn't look like that's removable, but I might be wrong. It's got the tool that when you drop the magazine, there's a tool that you kind of twist and pull out, and you use that to, if you've got a magazine safety, to disassemble the pistol, to kind of, it's like a long pin you can use to get inside there and trip that dog leg. So let's see here on Julie Golub's page. Let's see if she mentions it.
Yeah, I didn't check her page. I was just looking at the Smith & Wesson site.
Okay.
But it's nice that they're coming out with that, and so you can train with your M&P 22 if you can ever find 22 ammo.
Well, and that's another sweet, another thing that Smith & Wesson's sweetening the pot with, is that to round out your shooting experience from now till December 31st, Smith & Wesson will ship 222 rounds of Winchester 22 long rifle ammunition to each M&P 22 compact customer who redeems the promotional coupon. So you buy the gun, you get all the literature to go with it. There should be a coupon in there. you can only go onto their website, enter the code, and then they'll send you some 22. So, heck,
That's
there you go,
a
man.
better deal. Yeah, great deal there.
Yeah. Let's see here. It's got the trigger pull is 5.8 pounds with a reset, which should make it pretty close to regular M&Ps. And it looks like there's going to be a suppressor-ready version, so it's going to have a 3/8 by 24 threaded barrel with a muzzle cap for easy accessorizing. So that's kind of cool.
You better get a 22 suppressor to go on it then.
I do have one, and it's 1/2, so I might just have to get a. I don't know if they make an adapter to go 1/2 to 3/8. I bet they do.
It says other features 3/8 by 24 takes 3/8 by 24 to 1/2 by 28 adapter. So I don't know if it comes with one or.
I probably have to get one from Barnell's or something.
Yeah, or maybe they might sell one themselves.
Yeah. So it's looking to be start shipping to. It's actually supposed to already been shipped mid-July to select partners, and is available now for immediate shipment to dealers. So you can also look for accessories from industry's top holster, laser, and aftermarket sight manufacturers. So you can already buy a personalized M&P 22 compact with like a Crimson Trace laser or DeSantis holster, laser light, laser max, Streamlight, light, Triple K. I'm not sure what Triple K is.
I think they make holsters.
Okay. And I don't know if compact accessories will still fit. Like, will my M&P compact holster fit this? I think they might be the same dimensions. That'd be something I'm not seeing expressly said. It just shows that it is 15% smaller than the full-size M&P. So anyway, it does have an ambidextrous safety, so that's one important thing to also mention. If you don't like pistols with safeties, then yeah, it's kind of a bummer for you. And the magazine release is also reversible.
So you could buy one for your sister then.
Well, if I'm buying her that Stevens shotgun, man, I'm not made of money.
No, don't buy her the shotgun. Buy her this. It's cheaper.
Well, I already promised on the air earlier this year I was gonna get her like an LCP or LC9 because they go with Christmas sales, and now there's an LC9S.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a striker fired. I think striker fired. If they come out with a one with her favorite color is that kind of like seafoam blue, and I know they have the LC9s in that color grip. If they release that in that grip color, I will go. I will drive to Cabela's and pick it up. But yeah, we'll just have to see. I'm trying to save up money so I can go to SHOT Show this year. So anyway,
Yeah.
if you guys want to check out that M&P compact, go on over to www.smith-wesson.com. Go to their store, M&P handguns, and then you can look up that M&P compact, or M&P 22 compact. Don't want to get that confused with their M&P AR-15 chambered in 22 long rifle. Pretty cool stuff. So this next item is awesome, and I was super excited to talk about it this week. And it's from Dean Adams is the company, and it's a concealed carry corset. They call it the Slim. So if you go to deanadams.com, and that's DENE Adams.com, they have a couple different colors. They have cream and kind of a rose pink color, and then they also have a they call it the Phantom. It's black with like navy blue accent, and then they have the Cowgirl, which is a tan with teal accents. So it's kind of like a belly band, but it's got front hooks like a corset would, and it's got pockets for a pistol on both sides of your abs, so you could actually conceal carry 2 single stack pistols right up front. And they've got a video on their Facebook page showing somebody drawing from the holster. I think it's pretty cool.
Yeah, I saw the video where they were drawing the guns out of them. And I thought it was pretty slick how they just kind of shove their thumb down there and latch onto it and pull them out.
Yeah. So they're kind of their claim to fame is that never print again, and that this is the way that's the shape of your body or your lower torso, your core, has a curvature which is applied to the corset, and so the grips of the pistols are actually naturally pointing kind of along the contour of your body, as opposed to riding in a holster and maybe sticking out a little bit. So this is supposed to be a truly non-printing form of carrying. So you obviously just slip your blouse or shirt right over the top of it, and those pistols shouldn't be printing. So the MSRP on those is $119 for any of the 3 colors I mentioned, and they do come in 5 different sizes, which have fantastic names to them. So 25 inches to 27 inches is called alluring. 27 inches to 29 inches is called charming. 29 inches to 31 inches is dazzling. 31 inches to 33 inches is elegant, and 33 inches to 35 inches is graceful. So I think if I were to get one for me, I'd probably definitely be graceful, and I think that might even be a little tight, but that's pretty awesome. I'm having fun covering kind of not just macho male products, but so on their website they have videos as well showing people quick drawing and shooting from the holsters, and it's actually pretty impressive, I think.
Yeah, I thought the videos they were doing were pretty impressive. Did you get your significant other's input on this?
I showed it to her. I think it was a little early in the morning, and so she wasn't paying attention too much, so I'll have to ask her opinion again.
Yeah, I know. Ask her opinion on that carry bag, that purse, handbag, whatever it was you did a review on it.
Yeah, the compact carry.
Yeah, and couldn't really get it back from her is what it sounded like.
Yeah, it was kind of tough. When I said, "Oh, hey, I need you to try this out," and I need you to take pictures, and she was a little bummed that her Glock 26 didn't fit in there all that great. I mean, it fit, but it's just a pistol that's wider than like a Glock 42, for instance, or a single stack. But it was still really nice quality, and she liked getting involved a little bit into this podcasting thing that kind of strips me away from her every week. So it's kind of nice to get her involved in this. Maybe I can get Dean Adams, if they hear this podcast, to send a sample slim, and we can have my partner evaluate it and test it, and I think that'd be fair. I don't think it's appropriate for me to test it. I'm not the target market, but
yeah, I don't think I would be a very good tester either. In fact, I don't think they have one that goes big enough for me.
Yeah, I don't think anyone wants to see pictures of me wearing one of these. So
yeah, I don't think the Firearms Radio Network would be too happy with those pictures being out there.
No. I mean, maybe Peter Palma. I think maybe he'd be a dazzling or a charming looking at this size chart. I think he is definitely manly enough and confident enough to try it out.
Yeah, from what I hear with his unicorn shirts and stuff, he'd probably do it.
Yeah, you totally would not see the gun printing underneath the unicorn shirt. So if you want to check that out, go to their website, deanadams.com, and definitely check these out. It would probably make awesome birthday gifts or Valentine's Day gifts. I mean, heck, Valentine's Day, this would be like nail it in the gift department. The only problem is that she might want 2 guns so she can, kind of dual carry at the same time.
Well, that's not always a problem.
No, not really. And then the thing is it's ambidextrous, obviously, so if you want to carry in the left pouch or the right pouch, you can. And whatever pouch you're not carrying in, if you needed a place to put your cash or your ID, you'd have a place for that too.
Yeah, that's not a bad idea, carrying something. Or extra mags in the other one.
Yeah, there you go, an extra mag. Sweet. So let's move right on to the sponsored product spotlight. So our sponsor for the podcast is Action Target, and if you go to click on one of the affiliate links or go to firearmsinsider.tv/actiontarget, and then use the promo code radio15 when you're checking out, you get 15% off your order from Action Target. And they make some great steel targets. We mention them every week. And this week, actually, I am not covering a steel product. I am covering their shooter bag or their range bag. And it just so happens that Chad here has been asking me about what's a nice budget range bag to use or to get. And so this kind of fits right into what he was asking me, because the MSRP is only $35. And you use the Radio 15 discount code, and you get 15% off that. And I'm not going to try and do the math in my head on how much that is, but it seems like it'd be a heck of a deal for what you're getting.
Yeah, I was glad that you posted this for me so that I can take a look at it. And like you said, with 15% off of $35, I mean, I may just have to order one and do a review on it just because it's inexpensive and I need something else.
Yeah. So it's made of a durable, heavy-duty nylon, and it features a total of 9 pockets. That includes the large central pocket or chamber. It's got a removable carry strap, an external ID pocket, and nylon handles if you don't want to use the shoulder strap. So it's doesn't have too much more bells and whistles. It's got on the exterior side, there's nice pockets for your magazines or your ammunition or staple gun or all sorts of things that you usually take to the range with you on a consistent basis. There's a nice pocket for you to use. I use a tool bag, but it's because I'm cheap and I already had a tool bag that wasn't being used. This is definitely would be a little bit more I guess professional and look cool, and you've got more pockets for separating out your gear. So if you wanted pockets expressly for cleaning gear, if you wanted to do a little cleaning at the range, throw some bore snakes in there or some kind of bore cleaner, whatnot. You can definitely put that in there. So $35 minus 15%. That's a pretty spanking good deal on a shooter bag, and it's got Action Target logo right on there. It looks like the carrying strap. It's got kind of just a real simple padding, so that may or may not work for you, depending on how much weight you're putting in it and how far you're carrying it. If you're kind of walking in between stages or ranges, and it weighs, you got like 10 pounds of ammo in there, that strap might not cut it for you, but you could always replace the strap with something more robust if you had it.
Yeah, when I look for a shooting bag, for some reason, I'm always looking for one that has enough pockets to fit 3 pairs of ear protectors, earmuffs, just because I have to take mine, and then I have to take a pair for my son and a pair for my daughter. And so those always seem like they take up the most space of anything.
Yeah. And then your glasses, eye protection for everybody.
Yeah.
All the different magazines. So if you're bringing a carbine and a pistol to the range, if you want to store all the mags inside the bag. a ham sandwich. I'm sure you can fit a ham sandwich in one of those pockets. It's always a nice bit of gear to take to the range, especially if you're shooting an AK. Nothing cleans out an AK's action and lubricates like a ham sandwich with some mayonnaise.
Well, you gotta have. It looks like there's probably enough pockets on there. You could put some bacon in there too.
Oh yeah,
So
gotta have the bacon.
Well, yeah, and you can cook it on your suppressors. So.
Oh yes, I believe that. I actually got a when they call it something fancy. It's basically a cozy that slips right over the can, so you don't burn your hands when you're trying to unthread it, and it's heated up quite a bit.
One of the
It's like they call it like a Mirage dissipation platform system, tactical operations, something or other. But I'll do a review on it here. I've got quite a few products to review here for the next few months, but it's definitely interesting to have. I actually got it from Tab Gear, and you can have it custom made to fit the exact length you want and the exact diameter of your suppressor. So pretty sweet deal.
Yeah, on one of my suppressors I have a chunk of leather and I wrapped it in paracord and it keeps it from getting hot.
Oh, there you go.
It seems to work, so.
Yeah. Sweet. So anyway, if you want to check out that shooter bag, it's a great deal. If you go to Action Target's store, which is store.actiontarget.com, and then you go to gear, and then under bags and cases, they've only got 2 under that category. So underneath drop pouch, there's shooter bag. And don't forget to use that promo code Radio15. So now on to the main topic panel discussion of the reviews, and Chad has a very special product for us to look at today.
Well, I don't know if it's a special product.
I think it's very special.
It is one of the SOG or SOG. They call it a tactical tomahawk. It's, as you can see, not super big. Comes with this little sheath so you don't cut yourself. It's got a couple snaps on it, and then it comes out. You got a little axe end on one end, a little hammer if you turn it sideways, and a little pick. And for that, in the review I did, which it's a pretty useful tool outdoors, especially if you're camping, need to cut up kindling, maybe hammer in tent stakes. I have used it to hammer tent stakes in, and it seems to work quite well. It's called Tactical, probably because it's black and looks kind of like a tomahawk. And they have the hatchet part comes pretty dull. I sharpened mine. It works a lot better now. If you go camping, this little pick part helps you dig out rocks to like set your tent up on, so you're not laying on big, huge rocks. I've used it for that. It's got some Torx head screws to hold the actual head of it to the handle, which is some sort of plastic fiberglass reinforced who knows what. I think they actually say that it is a fiberglass reinforced nylon handle. The head is 420 stainless steel. It is hard-cased black coating, which, I don't know, I would guess that's something akin to black oxide or something. It comes with a fancy nylon sheath, which keeps you from, I guess, cutting stuff you don't want to cut. It's got checkering on the side where you're supposed to hammer stuff with. I don't know if the checkering actually helps, or it just tells you if you're actually hitting something where you're supposed to. There is, the overall length, it's 15 3/4 inches long. The head length is 8 1/4, it says, but I know that's not actually true, so it's more like about 5. I just pulled the stuff off their their website, and I don't know why it's actually showing it wrong. So I guess I might have pulled that off of a different website. But then we have, it weighs 24 ounces. So if you're backpacking or something, you don't need to carry a hammer and a hatchet and all kinds of other stuff. You just carry this around, and it's actually pretty light. I have not thrown it to see if it throws well. One of the reviews I read on it said that it actually does throw fairly well for what it is. What other people are saying, I'm going to read this. A good little tool. When I first picked up my tactical tomahawk, I was surprised by the weight. I had expected it to be much heavier. That actually came from the SOG website. And then I got an Amazon review. It says, perfect for backpacking. I use it to cut firewood, dig holes, driving tent stakes, pulling tent stakes, which it says see the little holes in the blade, and it says perfect, which I have never pulled tent stakes out with it, but basically I've done about everything else with it that guy did. I think that's a lot of it. I kind of told you the features and benefits. You know, the target market's anybody who needs a small hatchet with some sort of pick combo utility hatchet. And the manufacturer suggested retail is $64.25, but you can get it for $29.99 with free shipping on Amazon. Brownells also carries one. I do not know the price there, but if you're in the market, I would assume that you should use the Firearms Radio Network affiliate links, so that'll help them out. It is very useful. It's got pretty good utility. It's an excellent size. It's lightweight. It's strong. I have not destroyed it after probably bouncing it off the concrete once or twice. It comes with a sheath, and it's pretty cheap for what you're getting. And I gave it a 7.5, which is good. And I usually keep it under the seat in my pickup just so I have something to that effect if I need it.
Yep. And Brownells does have that for $41.99.
Okay, I thought they did.
Yeah, we'll make sure you have affiliate links in your posted review.
Right, and I don't know if the ones I clicked on when I did the review were affiliate links.
Oh, well, we make them that way.
Okay, that makes it better.
Yeah, we'll go through them. So the sheath that it comes with, is there any way to affix that to your belt, or is it just purely a sheath?
There actually is. I don't know if you can see it, but I'm going to stick my finger through it. There's a little slot here. You can actually stick it on your belt if you wanted. I think it'd be pretty tight with a 1.5 inch wide belt, but anything larger than that, I don't think you're going to fit it through it.
Okay.
So, yes, it is possible to affix it to your belt.
Sweet. Yeah, I mean, I could see a lot of uses for that. Where bringing in a hatchet, which has a little bit more weight to it. This would be lighter weight, so you can carry it backpacking, and I mean, if you need to chip through ice, it looks great for cutting kindling. Or if you got to split some zombies' heads open, it looks like you could do that too.
Yeah, I mean, if the zombies start coming and you're out somewhere and that's all you have, it's be better than nothing. I'm pretty sure of that.
Yeah. Right on. Well, thanks for that review. I was anxiously waiting for someone to cover that. It's very iconic. I'm seeing it a lot when in like Recoil magazine or any of the tactical magazines, when they do like a full spread photo of one item. There's usually like a vest and a holster behind it, and there's always an SOG tactical tomahawk somewhere in the photo. It's kind of like where's Waldo? It's like, where's the tomahawk? Oh, there it is.
This one I know is the smaller of the two that they make, or
Mm-hmm.
they make one that's larger. It's a little longer, a little bigger head on it. So I just happen to know that this is the small one.
Okay.
So now the interesting story is it's actually my son's. We were at a shoot once, and he went with me and was hanging out, and there was a prize table, and he said, "Hey, give me one of those tomahawks," and my number was drawn way late, but somebody else there actually had heard him say that, and when his number was drawn, there was still one left, and he grabbed it and handed it to my son.
Ah, sweet.
Yeah, that was pretty cool, I thought.
Right on. Well, thanks for doing that review, man.
Oh yeah, no problem. It was actually one that I actually kind of wanted to do a review on because it's pretty useful.
So what I'm going to be reviewing this week is something I've been using a lot as of late. With that 300 blackout build and cutting and forming 300 blackout brass from 223 and 556 casings. Obviously, you need to trim the casing, and then you need to resize it, and then you need to chamfer and deburr your brass. And there's definitely a lot of tools out there to help you do that. Some are more expensive than others. You can get like the full expensive case prep centers where they plug into the wall, and they've got all the different stations that are rotating when you turn it on. But those are more expensive, and they take up space on your reloading bench that maybe you don't want to give up. And so there's definitely some hand tools out there that can come in handy. And this week I'm actually going to be reviewing the hand tool that I use. And this is actually the Lyman Case Prep Multi-Tool. So what this is, it's a multi-tool. It's got a kind of a nice orange aluminum anodized body. It's got nice knurls for gripping, and it unscrews into two pieces, and it's hollow on the inside. And in that chamber, you can actually store all these little bits or heads that you screw onto the end of the tool. So it's kind of adaptable. So not only do you have your deburring head for getting the outside of your case mouth, and you have your chamfering tool, which gets the inside of your case mouth. You also have 4 other small little tools, and you've got your small and large primer pocket cleaner, which is basically just a slot that fits perfectly inside your primer pocket, and then you'll give it a couple quick turns, and it helps to loosen up and remove some of the built-up gunk that's on the inside of your primer pocket if you're that obsessive about your reloads, or if it's potentially really dirty ammunition. So there's a large and a small primer version of that. And then there's also a primer pocket reamer, and that's very important if you have crimped primer pockets. So like Lake City military brass, or any federal brass that's have the primer pocket crimped. It's very important to get inside those primer pockets and ream them out, because they're going to be a major problem when you're trying to seat a new primer in there, and it's going to get hung up, and it's going to cause you a whole bunch of problems. Whereas if you treat the primer pocket with a reamer, it cleans it out a little bit, but it also just kind of expands it, kind of takes that crimp out of it, and so then you can seat a new primer in it much more easily. So the beauty of this tool is, it's kind of two tools at once in one tool. So you can have your dechamfering and your, I can't even get these straight, your deburring and your dechamfer tool on here, but also you can unscrew the head, and it's just a nice threaded hole, and then you can insert the primer pocket reamer tool, and screw that on there. And then you have a nice tool that's got enough real estate to get your whole hand on, so you have plenty of leverage to ream that primer pocket. And then when you're not using these extra heads, instead of losing them in your junk drawer or your reloading drawer, you just toss them inside the body. So obviously the target market is reloaders that are going to be trimming their brass after it's been stretched after firing a couple different times, or if they're trimming down brass to form new cases or whatnot, you're going to want to do this. The importance of chambering and deburring is when you trim a case, so like when I'm forming 300 blackout, you trim the case, and they're actually at the very end of the case mouth. It's actually quite a bit thicker than from factory, just the case walls. And you're going to run into problems when you're seating a new a projectile right onto there. So especially if it's like a flat base bullet, not a boat tail, you'll seat it and it'll hit the case mouth, and if it doesn't go in the case mouth smoothly, could actually deform your shoulders or your case mouth, or just potentially just ruin your brass, or ruin your projectile. So maybe the jacket starts to come off your projectile, then you got to throw both away and start over with a new one. So for that you would use this. They call that the VLD deburring tool, and it just kind of makes a nice tapered inside edge. You don't want to do too much because you don't want to decrease the thickness too much, but just a little bit, and then that bullet will just slide in there. It kind of helps guide it in there. And then the same thing with the other tool for the chamfering, or the deburring, I should say. It removes burrs from the outside from cutting if your cut maybe wasn't very clean, and that also helps with chambering into your gun, into your chamber, and keeping that round in spec and keeping any burrs from causing a potential problem, especially if you're reloading for a semi-automatic. So it only comes in the one orange color, which is Lyman's kind of brand color. The MSRP is $21.99, and it is available on Brownells. So just look up Lyman Case Prep Multi-Tool, and then you can get that for $22. So I've been using it actually a lot, and I've got a little demonstration. So here I've got my electric drill, and I've actually got a 308 case chucked in there. So if I've been shooting this case 2 or 3 times, and it's the length has stretched beyond that of the specs, I would trim it first using a trimmer, either keeping them in the drill and then using a trimmer, or using like a zip trim I used to have. So then after you trim the case to the right size, you want to take your deburr and just put it right over inside the case, and it gets the outside. You don't want to really spin it too fast and do too much, because that's actually just going to wear down the life of your brass. And then you can just do the inside same way. So in a matter of just a couple seconds, I can do both actions just by switching this tool around, and bam, I'm done. So of course the advantage of having an actual station to do all that with is that you can turn the brass around and get the primer pocket at the same too, if you've got a primer pocket reaming tool on there. But this is way cheaper, and for like 5.56 brass, it gets the job done, but it also will work for any caliber. So the nice thing about these heads on here, it's compatible with everything. A little extra secret I do when I've got a crimped primer pocket is I use this de-chamfering head right here, and I just give it a couple twists inside the primer pocket, and it kind of creates a tiny little taper in there. So when you're seating your primer, they've got like a little tapered surface to help guide them in there. I just do it a little bit, and it seems to help me out too. So I know if you're not a reloader, that probably went all over your head, but if you're just getting into reloading, that's very valuable information, and I suggest you pick one of these up. And if you're a veteran reloader, you're shaking your head at the same time, you've probably went ahead and invested in something much more expensive and quick, so you already have that. So that's my review. I have a score. I'm going to give this tool a 9 because it does exactly what it needs to do. And I've used it on a lot of cases, and it's worked really good. My only faults, which they're not really faults, is that because these heads go in by threading, say you're using the primer pocket reamer tool, and so you're spinning it kind of clockwise, which tightens the head into the threads, just because you're friction and you're twisting it, and so it gets a little hard to take apart. But if you're spinning it counterclockwise and then spinning it counterclockwise and back and forth, sometimes if you do counterclockwise, that head will start to come unthreaded, but then you have to stop and then tighten it again. So, depending on how tight your primer pocket is, that reamer tool might either become way too tight, and then you'll have to loosen it. So a little extra play that you wouldn't have with like an actual electric center or station. But that's the only thing, and it happens so rarely that I don't really discredit the score that I give it. So, pretty nice little tool for you to use.
Yeah, I was going to say that's way nicer than the one I have. I have 4 or 5 different tools to do everything that one does, but I don't think they had something like that when I got all my stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I think I picked it up at a local Sportsman's Warehouse store. It's really nice because all the stuff just fits right in there. You don't have to have 5 different tools. And also, I mean, like the primer pocket cleaning tools, I'd never use those. I even have another primer pocket that's just two-sided, and it's about this big. But sometimes it's really nice to have something that fits in your entire hand, so you get a really good grip on it. I would highly recommend getting some kind of chuck for your cases, for your drill, because man, has that made my life easier, just being able to spin the case and the drill. Man, just like a snap. If only there was a way. I haven't invested in a really efficient trimmer, and that's the only thing holding me back from pumping out 300 blackout brass more successfully. But one thing at a time.
Yeah, and I have a case trimmer that I attach a drill to, and it works pretty well. It's just, I don't know if it would work for 300 blackout brass, making it from 223 or 556, because it's got a little pilot in it. So
Yeah, you have to actually. It's best to use like a chop saw, really. I was using a Dremel, and pretty sloppy and hard to be consistent. So there's a couple of cases that I cut too short. I just really have to. Maybe I think a lot of people go to Harbor Freight and they buy, their $30 or $70 chop saw. And then there's people that make jigs specifically for 300 blackout brass, or forming 300 blackout out of 556 brass. So you'd put the jig in the chop saw, put your brass down there, and then just, one chop and you're done.
Right.
But I just haven't gone that far. I actually found a local guy that's willing to make me 200 cases for $50, and they're annealed and trimmed and dechamfered and chamfered and deburred and like triple measured, and that's a sweet deal. Considering how much time it's going to take me and how much free time I have. So I'm just going to buy some brass from somebody and use that.
Yeah, sometimes paying the price is much better than all the work you got to put in.
Yeah, and my time is pretty short as it is. Anyway, speaking of time, actually, that was a coincidence. The tech, gadget, or app section, we're talking about a tactical watch. It's the Smith & Bradley Ambush digital analog watch. So there's actually a Kickstarter campaign to help get this watch into production. Right now it's got 172 backers, and their pledged goal of $40,000 they've already met and exceeded. So right now they're at $56,000. So there's only 29 days to go in the Kickstarter campaign. So you can, there's a minimum of $1 pledge. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Kickstarter. If you pledge $315 or more, you receive the watch for $250 off retail. So they want to, kind of reward you for pledging. So I guess that would make the MSRP $315 plus $250. So what, $535?
It says $565 on
$565. Okay.
Yeah.
So it's not a cheap watch, but you do get quite a few unique features that make it a very robust watch. So it's got a conventional dial, but it's also got digital reading, and it's got LED backlighting, and I guess the watch hands, the hour hand has kind of like a little dot on the end of it, and the minute hand, kind of somewhat in the middle of the minute hand, there's like a ring, like a ghost ring, and so every time those two hands intersect, it's kind of like making, I think someone called it like almost like an AR-15 sight picture, but it's not quite. It's more just like a dot inside that little loop. So I guess every hour, it kind of, those two hands intersect, and I don't know, it's something. Both hands have glowing lines painted onto them. And it's produced by Jeremy Smith and Brian Bradley, and on their Kickstarter page they've got a nice video. They're out of Sydney, Illinois. Their video is actually kind of funny because it's like overly trying to sell the tactical version of it, so it's like, kind of a marsh, and there's fog, and there's these guys walking through with ARs. I mean, they probably were like airsoft ARs or whatever, but it's like they're walking, they're stalking, they stop, and he checks his watch, and then like you can store, I think, a couple different time zones in the watch, so it's like, if you want to check the time zone somewhere else, you hit the button and it automatically reverts back, 2 hours or 3 hours, whatever time zone you have it set to. So that's kind of nice, especially if you have you want to be in communication with somebody that's in another time zone. You can switch back and forth between time zones. That's kind of unique. It also has an electronic compass on it, so you can always find electronic north. What do you think about this watch, Chad?
Well, if it wasn't so expensive, I'd like it a lot more. I actually like analog watches that have, a digital readout in them of some sense too. I would have a lot of watches if I had a lot of money, is what it really would amount to. I didn't see in there if it's battery powered or if it has some sort of self-winding solar type recharging system in it, which if it did, that would be way cooler.
Yeah, it does have a 39-month battery life. It uses the Swiss Renata battery, which I have not seen that at the grocery store. So I'm thinking after 39 months, you're going to have to place a very special order for a Swiss battery.
Right, unless you're lucky and your local jeweler happens to have one.
Or you're in Switzerland, and then you can just go to Radio Shack.
Probably.
So it's Swiss digital analog movement, and it's constructed of 316L stainless steel, and it's PVD coated. And the case is 44 millimeters without the crowns, as far as the width of it. It's got sapphire crystal, which is an anti-reflective coated as well. So pretty robust glass. It's got a rubber strap that's EPDM. I don't know what that acronym means.
Yeah, me neither.
Yeah. So that it's got a alarm, a chronograph, a compass, and dual time zones, like I mentioned before. The backlighting is a blue LED, digital display, and it has Super Luminova on the analog hands designed in Sydney, Illinois. And the bezel is designed based on some of their concept drawings from an AR-15 Picatinny rail. So a couple of these designed features they've actually built from the ground up and were inspired by the AR-15. So I guess I can kind of see it, but I don't know. I guess I don't really correlate watches with AR-15s, but this is a pretty dang tactical watch, and the AR-15 is like iconic tactical, so I guess you could draw the line between the two.
We'll probably see it on the cover of Recoil magazine or something here pretty soon.
You most definitely will if they haven't already. I don't have a subscription, I just read it when I'm waiting at the store, but I think it's a pretty cool watch. The ability to, like I said, do those 2 time zones is nice. And then the low light setting, they utilize reverse LED for the digital function, so it allows you to use light from the environment to utilize the LED. So it doesn't give off as much light unless activated. So that means, if you don't want to broadcast your position, you can you'd have enough light to read it without being super bright like a regular lit Walmart watch or something like that. Some of those are pretty stinking bright.
Yeah.
You can also have it set to military time, I think, as far as the digital goes. So if you want, I put the link in the show notes to the Kickstarter page. It is water resistant, so it can withstand up to 330 feet of submersion. So you can wear it when you're snorkeling or diving or recreational swimming, as long as it's within 330 feet, which that's a pretty good depth. No deep sea diving with it, but
yeah, I think most people aren't going to go diving with this watch anyway.
Yeah. So they've got. It seems like if you donate or if you put in enough backing for Kickstarter, they'll throw in a nice a waterproof box, which and then some extra different color straps. It looks like there's a rubber strap or there's NATO straps, as well as the waterproof box. That'd be kind of nice to get different straps. So the funding will be, as far as their production schedule, they're looking completing the funding in September, and production will be 45 days and be complete by October 31st. And then assembly and quality control will take about 2 weeks and completed in November 15th. So all said and done, looking to ship mid-November and have the entire process completed by the end of November. So if you're interested in this watch, these guys certainly look like they know what they're doing. They've had some other successful products that they've launched on Kickstarter, so I'd give that a checking out if you're interested.
Sounds like they'll have it done just in time for people to get it for Christmas.
Yeah.
Probably smart on their behalf.
That's right. So if you are interested in that, we'll check out the link in the show notes. No listener feedback this week. In closing, we want to encourage you to check out all the other podcasts on the Firearms Radio Network. And I am once again plugging the Guns of Hollywood podcast because they cover movies and they go over the movie, interesting trivia about the director and the plot of the movie, and then they go over the guns that were featured in the movie, and they cover some great titles, Saving Private Ryan, Punisher. I believe the last one that they covered was Last Action Hero with Arnold Schwarzenegger. So if you're interested in movies and the guns that are used in the films, that's definitely the podcast that's up your alley, and it's hosted by Allie and Sam Asner, who used to be on this show a lot, and now he's doing this a whole lot too. So if you enjoyed hearing Sam on the earlier episodes of the Gun and Gear podcast, make sure you listen to him again on Guns of Hollywood. So the website for that is www.gunsofhollywood.com, and you can listen to all the other podcasts on the Firearms Radio Network by going to firearmsradio.tv/iTunes, and be sure to check out the Firearms Insider for more reviews and industry coverage. And if you would like to leave a comment or question, you can email podcast@firearmsinsider.tv or myself, cross@firearmsradio.tv. And remember to subscribe and leave us an iTunes review. So that's the show. Thank you once again, Chad, for coming on. It's always great having you on the show.
Oh, sure, anytime. And hopefully maybe you'll get some other people to chime in and do this. I think I'm one of two of the listeners that have done it so far.
Yep, so far two. But then again, TJ started off as a listener, and so did Sam. So everyone's got to start somewhere. I'd be even thrilled to have 2 or 3 listeners on at the same time, and then I don't even talk about a review. I just bring up kind of the topics of the new products that week, and let them talk about what their opinions and point of views are on their experience. That would be great.
I'd probably be game for that if you get it put together. I'd do it.
Yeah, and then based on the some of the iTunes reviews we've been getting, I think there's a lot of listeners out there that would enjoy hearing back from more of their fellow listeners. So if you're interested in hearing that on this show, it would be great if you would participate and come on the show and show other listeners how it's done. So shoot me an email if you're interested. But that's my sales pitch. Have a great week, Chad. Thanks for joining me again. Hope it's not too warm down there. I know we're both coasties, so if I'm feeling the heat, I know you are too.
Oh yeah, it's supposed to be cool for a few days and super hot next after that. So I guess we'll see you again, right?
Yep. Enjoy your weekend and shoot safe, and catch you on the next episode.
Yeah.
See ya.
Bye.